The thoughts, opinions, and general overall shade thrown on High at 9 News are those of the individual speakers and not those of High at 9 News, its audience, or its advertisers. The statements made do not constitute medical, legal, or financial advice, and for advice tailored to your specific situation, please consult with a licensed professional. Welcome to the High at 9 News Hour, where you will hear from cannabis industry experts and professionals from around the country talk about important topics while shining light on global issues and discussing cannabis as it relates to politics, regulation and reform, data and technology, science, research and medicine, family and parenting, art, celebrities and entertainment, fitness, sports, mental health and wellness, and plant-based medicines and entheogenics. Together, we are building a stronger community, fighting the stigma and creating change. With your hosts, Jason Beck and Rico Lamitte, joined by special industry expert correspondents from around the country, and daily antics brought to you by Cannabis. Coming to you live every Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Pacific Time and high noon on the East Coast. And thank you all for getting high at 9 with us. I think. Yes. No, it's not. Oh, there we are. There we are. Good morning, everybody. That is right. It is Wednesday, September 4th, and today is National Spice Blend Day. All you spicy blenders. It's also National Macadamia Nut Day and National Newspaper Carrier Day and National Wildlife Day. Thank you all for joining us and getting high at 9 with us. It's also high noon on the East Coast. And please remember to like, share, and subscribe to us on all social media platforms. You can look up above on your screen to see exactly where we live on the internet. And we are live every Monday through Friday on YouTube, Rumble, Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and on our very own website at www.highat9news.com. But kicking it off first, we are missing the dope dad himself at the moment. So we are going to kick this off with Mr. Attorney at Law, Mr. Dale Schafer. He's the founder of Armada Law Practice, and at one point in time did some time for a cannabis crime. Here to show you how to piss up a rope and defy gravity is none other than attorney Mr. Dale Schafer. All right, I hear that. I can't hear him.
But I see levels.
Now they're saying they can't hear Dale either. I need you to call Millie. All right.
Dills talking right now, but I'm not sure. No, I did not.
Yep, go do whatever you got to do.
Okay. Here we go. Coming back to you. And 3, 2, 1. Okay. And then OBS or Discord. We're gonna close out Discord, right? Quit.
Sorry, guys, we are experiencing some technical difficulties. We will be getting this all going in just a second. We have Sean in here today. This is his first solo dry run today, so we had a feeling we'd have some technical difficulties or whatnot. But he is on the phone with technical support trying to get this alleviated immediately for you guys. So we do apologize for all of the inconvenience.
Because of the symptoms
Oh,
from
there
this
we go.
antipsychotic
We hear you now,
medication.
Dale.
They went after her medical license because of that.
Dale.
I got it. Yeah.
Dale, now we hear you, and the audience can hear you now. So we gotta kick it off. We gotta have you start all over again. I'm sorry, but
Okay.
we got all the audio issues fixed now. I can hear you. In the chat, make sure let me know if you guys can hear him too in the chat.
You just let Dale report like for 15 minutes, and then you're like, well,
You know what, Jenny? We're working it out over here, so I don't need all the extraness.
Okay. Well,
Yep.
we're going to
there we
start
go.
over again.
Yep. Let's start all
We'll be
over
back
again.
up.
Take it from the top, Dale. I'm sorry.
And the story today comes out of Law 360. It's another lawsuit against Steezy. And it involves their high-potency vaping products and claims that these products cause cannabis-induced psychosis and that they're marketing to children. They committed fraud by not telling people about this psychosis that can be induced from these high-potency products. And one of the problems with this is that when you represent a brand, I have clients who have brands. When you sit down for marketing meetings, in California, you can't market to children. Oh, there's a lot of marketing techniques that are just off the table. You can't use cartoon characters. You can't use things that children find interesting predominantly over adults. I mean, there's a lot of advertising techniques that are just taken off the table. And in this suit, this young man, his initials are KG because he's trying to stay anonymous. Back in high school, claims he started vaping a lot of Steezy products because they didn't tell him they were unsafe. And it gets a little murky in here as to how long he was vaping, and he was doing it multiple times a day. But at some point when he was in high school, claims he had a psychotic break, stole his dad's truck, took off to Frisco, ran out of gas, was pretending he was a famous rapper to try and get people to buy his gas and shit like that for him. And part of it makes me chuckle. I mean, I don't mean to devalue this young man's experience, okay? This was not fun. Having a psychotic break is not fun. He was given a 5150 hold. In California, it means 72 hours. We're going to keep an eye on you very closely because you're a danger to yourself or others. He's claiming that during that episode when he was in a 5150 hold and in a rehab facility, no one told him that cannabis might have caused his psychosis, despite the fact he tested positive for THC. And that's because he blew the statute of limitations. Then claims December of last year had another one of these episodes. I don't go into detail about what happened, but that's when he was first told that his vaping high THC products multiple times a day might have caused his cannabis-induced psychosis. Now, the other thing that they're claiming in this suit is that the marketing was directed at children, especially teenagers, okay? And they put a bunch of pictures in there and pictures of products. And some of their claims are that they use the names of sweet products, Purple Punch, Gelato, birthday cake. No mention in there that these are strains of cannabis that were developed irrespective whether children knew about it or not. They're given, I mean, that's what when you buy it from a farm, it's gelato, it's birthday cake. This is not a Steezy owned, brand. They're out there. And they also made some claims about using bright colors and that the dispensaries have, bass heavy music and flashing lights. And, it's like, okay, what is it, Studio 39 or whatever the fuck it was in New York? Or is this something that is being marketed to people over the age of 21? Now, Steezy's response to this is that we put on our labels, this is for people over the age of 21, and which California requires. We also have a Prop 65 warning out here about how cannabis might cause cancer, despite the fact there's never been a cannabis caused cancer that anybody could ever find. We have to put it on the label. And at some point, you just have to start asking, how much stuff do we have to put on the label here to warn somebody that's not supposed to have the product in their hands? Now, I represent cannabis companies, and so I'm basically a defense attorney, and I have a perspective on this from the company's point of view. Is there anything that you can put onto a label someone won't torture into saying, oh, it's marketed towards children? I mean, one of the things they said was that Steezy's stick vape pen had the colors and looked like a highlight pen. Okay, well, I took a look at the picture, and it's like, that don't look like no highlight pen I ever saw, but they can make all these claims they want. At the end of the day, we're going to find out through this litigation, where's the line drawn about marketing to children? Because Steezy clearly put onto its labels all it was required to put on. And right now, the causative factors for cannabis-induced psychosis still include a lot of words like may. Now, these are correlations. No one has proven it yet. And some of this has to do with the nonsense the DEA has been engaged in for the last 50 years of preventing research into cannabis, unless it was really bad for you. Well, psychosis was not something they were dealing with predominantly. But if you go back to the 1800s when the Indian Hemp Commission went to insane asylums around India, they certainly found hash eaters that were psychotic. This is not a brand new phenomenon, but the problem here is that these plaintiffs have the burden of proof now. They have to prove that cannabis-induced psychosis is in fact caused by cannabis, and not that you are already pre-psychotic genetically. Maybe you're using cannabis because your symptom profile makes it easier to deal with them. And the psychosis comes out. This is part of the problems they had when they accused Molly of this years ago, when she approved someone's use of cannabis who was schizophrenic and on antipsychotic medications for the symptoms. Then he stopped taking them. They couldn't prove it then. I don't think they prove it now, although there is a strong correlation. It needs a lot more research. So what I'm hoping is that through this litigation, we get some objective criteria to use when you're working on a marketing program. Because I've been in these meetings before, and there's many a times where I've told them that fuck you are, you're not putting that on a marketing campaign. It's for children, it's going to be a problem for you. But most of the time it's like, hey, I don't know. This, it looks like this is marketing towards adults, but someone can turn it into whatever they want. I'm hoping out of this we get some objective criteria how from a brand and marketing standpoint do you do this without being accused of marketing to children. And I'm interested to see if they can prove that this kid's psychosis was caused by cannabis, although I think there's a lot of correlations there. They have the burden of proof. I'm going to throw this back at you because we'll talk about this again. These are parts of meetings that you have in companies where you're trying to get your brands out there, your products out there, and then not be subject to these kinds of lawsuits that could basically kill your company. Back at you. What do you guys think about this?
Dale, how old was this kid?
He was born in 2004.
He was born
in 2022. He was 18.
In 22. I mean, last time I checked, you have to be 21 or over to get into a dispensary. So could it be possible that he's talking about illicit products that he thinks are stizzy that aren't actually stizzy?
It's also possible that he was a med patient and did, in fact, buy this medical stizzy product in a store.
No, that's not his allegations. He's claiming he got it off Snapchat and other things like
this is a trap product.
Products to people in Snapchat, okay? Mm-hmm. There's a lot of problems in there about the cause of this cannabis-induced psychosis, but these discussions need to be had. You can keep yourself out of trouble, not be accused of marketing to kids. Mm-hmm. He didn't buy this from a dispensary because he couldn't have got in there.
I mean, not
Go ahead, Jenny.
Sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead,
Okay.
Jenny.
Rough, man.
I mean, I don't know. The packaging argument, the marketing to kids argument doesn't hit for me here. Like, first of all, he is an adult, so he's not a child. But I think that Stizzy's packaging is this sort of more dull, bland packaging. It doesn't have all like the crazy stuff on it that would appeal to kids. It doesn't look like candy. It doesn't look like, it's like a silver box with either a green, purple, or red lettering and kind of attributes, right? So I don't know how Stizzy's at fault here. Steezy, sorry. And I just think that, if this guy had a psychotic break, that sucks. But it sounds like a lot of lack of accountability here from this young man. And I just don't know that it's fair to Steezy to, in at least this case,
I mean, I just don't see how. I don't see how Stizzy would even be liable for this. I mean, is that even possible, Dale? If it's a counterfeit product, that they're going to be liable for this? Because unless they can show like a proof of purchase from a retail dispensary, that I think Steezy's going to have like easy out to say that this wasn't our product. This is a counterfeit product. Da 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 da. It's not from us.
I mean, I would add to that even on top of that. I mean, what other cannabis products did this kid consume as a teenager? How can they directly correlate that it was the Steezy product that caused this and not something else? That's why I gotta agree with you, Jason. I think this is a frivolous lawsuit. They picked the biggest guy on the market that is, cash in their coffers, and they're trying to get a payout out of it, because I highly doubt that Steezy was the only cannabis product this person ever consumed as a teenager, and therefore, like, how can you prove that it wasn't one of the other products or some other medication that you consumed that caused this?
Yeah, we don't know. We don't know what actual pharmaceutical medication this kid is taking, and if he's been housed in a mental little space or whatnot. And I mean, they make you go into little group sessions, and they make you, and then they automatically diagnose you and start prescribing you more drugs while you're in there. So I'm not sure if I'm buying any of this. I think this is a total frivolous lawsuit.
I'm glad Dale covered this story, because I saw it on Green Market Report. Their headline was funny. It's "Former Teen Sues Steezy Claiming Cannabis-Induced Psychosis," which I just thought was funny because, we're all former teens, but
yeah. Well, the problem initially is what we call standing. If you never bought that product, you don't have the packaging. You can prove I got it. It was sold with a COA through a legitimate business. Now, I don't think you have standing to sue Steezy unless you can prove that these are a Steezy product that they put out in the market intentionally. Someone didn't steal from them or steal in their IP name. I mean, when you get into these things, and I put my litigation hat on, the first thing I go is I file a demur and say, you don't have standing here. Make them prove they have standing, that they actually bought Steezy products. And then I bring in psychologists for marketing, show that Steezy does not market, get everybody involved in those marketing decisions to come in and testify. We never intended to market to children. We did these things because of these reasons, not for children. But that's hundreds of thousands of dollars of attorney time down the road. You'd like to try to get these things thrown out. And I think they have some issues here proving that this was a Steezy product, even though he claims, I saw it on the web and I read their stuff and it seemed like it was safe. Yeah, you're fucking 17 years old. Where in the hell are your parents? This is what irritates the shit out of me. My kids used to steal my weed and think I didn't know it, okay? Didn't know what they were doing. And I did, okay? And parents need to be around somewhere. Even if you can't stop your kid from vaping, you can certainly be up their ass about what they're doing and get a handle on your kids and not make it the responsibility of the rest of the world to take care of your kids when they're teenagers and being fucking idiots with their head up their ass.
100%. 100%.
Totally agree. You have any thoughts on this, Rico, before we move on?
Yeah, man, this is just trying to kick Steezy while they're down. Like, this is some bullshit in my mind. I mean, obviously we'll have to wait and see what happens, but seems like some bullshit, man. I know not everybody was born a grown ass man like myself.
Boy. Oh boy. Yeah, and on that we're going to go to a commercial. We're going to be right back. The Control Tower from Highly Educated has perfected the dab. Utilizing the concept of thin film evaporation, you can waste none of it and taste all of it. The micro texture of the SE pillar increases nucleation at elevated temperatures. And with the tower propelling at 2,600 RPMs, it's certainly the most efficient dab experience to date. The Control Tower from Highly Educated.
Oh yeah. Am I going? I get to introduce you, Jim.
You get to introduce me, yeah.
Yeah. Y'all know who it is coming up next. The man, the myth, the legend, the Donald Trump supporter. And I ain't talking about no jockstrap. Coming to this stage, it's the High at 9 News head honcho, known for smoking the best weed in the world and for always being the highest Republican in every single room. Except for when Jenny Beth is in there.
No. I'm always the highest, bro. Stop the cap. Stop the cap.
Jason Beck, what you got for us today, my man?
Oh, yeah, Rico. Oh, man. I can't wait to tell you guys about this.
I can't wait for your story.
Yes. Well, I got 2 stories today, Rico, just so you know. And, man, I'll tell you, my second one is a humdinger, okay? But
you bringing that back now, huh?
Yeah. Well, we got Dale here today, so you know what I mean? I got to speak his language.
I'm on a dinger. Yeah.
Concerns are raised as legalization of medical marijuana in Kentucky approaches, you guys. That's right. A new report indicates that more than 100 Kentucky cities and counties will conduct ballot referendums related to medical marijuana. Gene Cole, executive director and president of the Kentucky Ethics League, hopes the communities will decide not to participate in the medical cannabis program. Medical marijuana becomes legal in Kentucky beginning on January 1st. But local municipalities can decide whether to opt in to it or allowing medical marijuana businesses or to opt out. They can also take no action and be automatically included in the medical cannabis program. Cole said he is concerned the communities that allow marijuana-related businesses will see an increase in crime. In a quote, he says, in the cities and states that have enacted medical marijuana programs, the promises have yet to be realized. Property crime has gone up, dispensaries are robbed, and not for their money, but for the marijuana, he says. According to several news reports, the Daviess County Sheriff is preparing for a possible increase in DUIs after medical marijuana becomes legal. And in a quote, speaking with our law enforcement partners from states that already have relaxed marijuana laws, whether it's medicinal or adult use, we know that DUIs are one of the things that will most likely see an increase in Daviess County. Sheriff Brad Youngman told the Ozemboro Times. Youngman has begun training his officers on more sophisticated evidence collection in order to successfully prosecute DUIs. And he said his office now has a trained phlebotomist on the force so that blood can be drawn more efficiently for drug testing. In a quote, the only test that would matter in a marijuana or any kind of DUI would be the blood test, he said. According to the Kentucky Traffic Collision Report, 744 people were killed in a fatal crash back in 2022. Of those deaths, 265 were under the influence of drugs, with almost half having marijuana in their systems, they say. Americans Against Legalized Marijuana, AALM, Vice President Scott Chipman said, the reasons people may still think alcohol and tobacco are more dangerous than pot is because for decades they have been educated on the dangers of alcohol and tobacco. People have not received the same education on marijuana, and if they had, they would know marijuana is as or more dangerous than tobacco or alcohol, they say. They're just gaslighting you guys. But nonetheless, the AALM also pointed out that the National Transportation Safety Board Chair Jennifer Homendy warned that many states are far ahead of legalizing it, but very behind when it comes to traffic safety. A study released in 2023 found that marijuana-related traffic accidents that required treatment in an emergency rose to 475% between 2010 and 2021. While some counties and cities can prevent medical cannabis businesses from operating, they cannot prohibit anyone with a valid medical marijuana card from possessing it, you guys. Well, Kentucky is doing a whole bunch of gaslighting going on in regards to public safety with cannabis, and I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say about this.
I'm sorry. Did they say that people have not been educated on the harms of cannabis in the past? Like, this is news to me. We got DARE when I was in elementary school, so I don't know what the fuck they're talking about.
That sounds like a real good time.
Yeah, it sounds like he's confirming it was all reefer madness. It was all a bunch of hoo-ha from the jump.
Cops don't like people smoking weed because the correlation between THC in the blood and bad driving is just not there. They can't prove it. And they got so used to just having someone blow in a little device or, whatever, and, oh, we got you now. No, you can go to trial and win these cases because I bet most of the people on the screen right now carry more than 5 nanograms in their system most of the time. Okay? And you get in the car and drive all the time. I mean, I've been smoking weed and driving since 1971. So you learn how to do it. It is nothing like consuming alcohol, okay, or heroin or things like that really take away your ability to think. So the cops don't like this, and I understand it because they want easy convictions. As a cannabis advocate, I don't want people going to jail just because the blood test says you got a certain amount in your blood and you didn't fail any field sobriety tests. Because my son got hooked up in that, and it kind of irritated the shit out of me.
Kentucky. Where's your homeboy Marijuana Mitch? Jason?
What's that? Say that again, Rico. I'm sorry.
Where's your homeboy Marijuana Mitch? Is he gonna step up on this?
No, I thought his name was Moscow Mitch.
No, his name is Marijuana Mitch, bro. He passed the farm bill.
He passed out.
His name is Delta 10 Mitch.
Delta 10 Mitch. That's cute.
Oh boy.
Guys. That's cute. That's cute. And
Delta 11.
And just so you know, I do apologize for the for the visuals. Today we're having an off day. We do have Sean in here helping us out, filling in, and it's his first dry run doing this all by himself today. So we're trying to figure it out, and I just tried to go and help him, and for some reason we're having a little glitchy with the visuals today. So I do apologize to everybody for that. But nonetheless, we will be better tomorrow, you guys, and we're going to figure this out as we continue moving on.
Shout out to Sean.
Yes, shout out to Sean. Thank you so much for being here today, Sean. Yes. Any other final thoughts on this Kentucky? I mean, this just sounds like more of the same for me. They want to do this whole local control thing. It sounds just like California. It sounds like Kentucky's going to end up being a dumpster fire too. But we will stay tuned and watch and make sure that we're reporting on all the dumpster fires across the country. Nothing, you guys? Nothing?
No, I mean, it's just disappointing. It's more bullshit. So, sucks to be in Kentucky.
More of the same, man. More of the same. This is the South. Oh, is Kentucky's the South?
Yeah, Kentucky's the South.
Yeah.
Kentucky's the South.
Yeah, bro.
Is Kentucky the South?
Virginia, bro. Virginia is the most northern state in the South, bro, and Kentucky is below it. Yeah, it is.
Jason.
And Rico's from Virginia, so this is very. No, are you? Yeah, I'm very. All right, keep it rolling.
Jason is thinking of the Civil War. That's why he thinks it's the South.
The Mason-Dixon line, y'all.
Yep. See, there we go.
Come on, Jason. The capital of Confederacy was in Virginia, and Virginia 100% is South. Kentucky
Kentucky is below it.
Kentucky is bordering a bunch of Midwestern states, so that's why I was like, "Yo, is Kentucky really South or is it more considered really? Midwest?"
Bro, when's the last time you looked at a
borders
map?
Indiana.
When's the last time you looked at a map?
Pennsatucky.
Oh, jeez, Louise, you guys.
It was a slave state, though.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it was.
Mm-hmm.
Get your geography tutoring from High at 9.
Exactly.
Yeah, they don't teach us in schools. Except for Reefer Madness.
We're going to roll right into Rico Lamitte, the dope dad himself, who, thank goodness enough, he can read, even though he doesn't know geography at all whatsoever. But fortunately enough, he can also change diapers. That's right. It is also the dope dad himself, Mr. Rico Lamitte.
Yeah, Jason.
Yes.
You're going to love my story because...
I can't wait.
It is everybody out there. It is hump day, and keeping in line with Jason Beck's theme of humming on dingers like he was on Monday when it came to Donald Trump and his bullshit that he was spewing over the weekend.
He didn't spew anything.
He also got a little bit of unexpected clapback coming from his own Republicans calling out the bullshit that he continues to spew. So in the latest campaign efforts made to make reefer madness great again, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis continued to warn Floridians this Monday that if the legalization ballot known as Amendment 3 passes in November, regulating public consumption will be next to impossible. Megan Meehan over at Benzinga reported that is about all that Meatball Ron had to say regarding the cannabis initiative since Donald Trump endorsed it on Saturday. Remember that endorsement, Jason, that you were slobbering all over?
Amazing.
Well, referring to comments made by a GOP state senator that the initiative does not contain controls for regulating public marijuana consumption, DeSantis said that he was right and then accused Floridians of being lax voters. His observation was clear in the text of actual amendment, which is not included on the ballot and which 99% of the voters will never read, DeSantis wrote on X. And shots. Oh, excuse me. Is it too soon to say that? But yeah, taking shots at Donald Trump. DeSantis has not made any public comment as yet as of Trump's endorsement of Amendment 3. His Republican pals, however, are not shy about blasting the former president for his surprising announcement, about which many are apparently not too happy. Jason Beck, a little fact-checking live right here, seems to say that Republicans are on board for that, but survey says here they are not.
They're wrong. Survey's wrong. The survey you're talking about is wrong.
Hold on. Let me finish, brother. Let me finish. You have plenty of time to clap back right here, man. So GOP chair David Biddle said on X, "Don't listen to Trump. Vote no on Amendment 3. We don't need recreational marijuana in Florida. It's been a disaster everywhere. They have it. It brings zero benefit to society. It increases crime, increases homelessness, and it increases further drug use. It's bad for Florida." And then, lo and behold, Donald Trump defector Jenna Ellis, who was barred for 3 years in Colorado for making false statements and believing all that trash that he likes to say and doesn't mean any of it. She is back with a vengeance, and she called Trump's endorsement a PR move and a distraction over Amendment 4, the ballot that would repeal the state's 6-week abortion ban. Trump is talking about Amendment 3 to make conservatives start talking about why we could obviously oppose this stupidity, and he hopes we just forget about the Amendment 4 problem. Meanwhile, DeSantis's chief staff bashed a former GOP colleague. James Uthmeyer, who is also DeSantis's campaign manager in the governor's failed bid for president, went over Trump ally State Senator Joe Gruters, a former chair of Republican Party of Florida. Gruters announced his support for legalizing marijuana earlier this summer, but also wants to regulate public smoking if the initiative passes, a point that Trump also made when he announced his support for Amendment 3. It's a shame that someone like Joe Gruters would support an amendment that has virtually no checks on where and how marijuana can be consumed, putting kids at risk, said Uthmeyer. Someone should check who has given him political money and then see who is backing this amendment. I'm loving all this Republican infighting, and it seems like the walls are closing in, not just from the Harris Walls campaign of joy that he seems to not be able to get a grip on, but also from the GOP itself, because all of these promises that he's putting out there are going diametrically opposed to the things that they believe in, which is reefer madness. So you guys want to talk about flip-flopping all day? We can talk about flip-flopping, but you can't talk about flip-flopping without talking about the #1 flip-flop wearer of all time,
Rico Lamitte.
Donald Trump. Donald Trump. So that's all I got to say. And I cannot wait to hear Jason come over here trying to say it ain't so. I'm Rico Lamitte, the dopest dad on the street for High 9 News.
It's not.
I'm shocked. So did Trump just take the crown from John Kerry for being the biggest flip-flopping presidential candidate of all time?
Trump has not flip-flopped. Trump has not flip-flopped at all.
From week to week. Now he's pro women's reproductive rights.
I thought that we said in the
he's
show
losing
previously that
everybody
we're allowing people's views to evolve if they're evolving in a positive manner.
in real
Like,
time.
why?
too, right?
Why?
Yeah, I don't understand why you guys are hating on the evolution.
And so it's an evolution if it's a Republican, but it's flip-flopping if it is anything but a
Well,
Republican.
the reason why it's flip-flopping with others is because their actions speak louder than their words, and that's why it's flip-flopping with the Democrats. Trump's actions show his evolution on this perspective.
What actions?
Really? Let me hear. I'm gonna count them down for you.
He
All
plays
right.
golf and he's
Yeah.
McDonald's all
I'm gonna
day.
count them down.
His
for you.
attorney
The
general,
first
his
step
attorney
act.
general rescinded the Cole memo.
No one cares
Oh, he
about the
wakes up
Cole
at
memo.
3
I don't
a.m.
understand why you
I mean, I agree.
people all care about the Cole memo because it does absolutely nothing. It's totally worthless.
I'm not saying the Cole memo was an important.
Cole memo
piece
doesn't
of,
matter at
an
all.
important document.
Doesn't
I'm
care.
saying that on a matter of principle, his attorney general rescinded the one thing, the one memo that we had at a federal level that was essentially giving a green light for states to operate.
That's not true. That's total fake news. The Cole memo never allowed for states to operate. The only thing that allowed for states to operate was the voter initiatives that states passed, and then you had the Rohrabacher-Farr Amendment, which stopped the Justice Department from being able to go and regulate on those as far as federal law. That's the only thing. Cole memo never did anything, never gave you any type of protection, never allowed you to operate. That's total fake news.
Oh boy.
Regardless, it was rescinded by Donald Trump's attorney
It should have
general.
been rescinded. It didn't do anything. It did nothing. It was just some little piece of paper floating around on someone's desktop.
Oh, he mad. You mad?
Y'all don't pick on Jason.
Very, very defensive.
Okay, Jay.
Well, and just before an election, you should assume every time a politician's mouth moves, they're fucking lying. Okay, let's just start there, because they want to get elected more than they want to tell the truth.
I will say this. I'm sorry, Dale. Go ahead. Please finish.
Oh, I'm just going to say we're going to be gaslit from all sides here for the next 2 months. Okay.
Yep.
And I don't even know what to say, because some people have a history of being mendacious, and others, it's, we dealt with Kamala here in the state over her marijuana policies.
Right.
So, I mean, where are we going to go with this? Because, like I said, when they open their mouth and their mouth moves, they're fucking lying. Let's just start from there.
Exactly.
It looks like it just looks like 45 is losing control of his
Not
pulse.
even close, bro. And shout out to the Cole memo. And if you guys,
Shout out to the Cole.
hold on, slow down. And shout out to the Cole memo. And if you want to see me actually debate and go over all these topic points with one of my liberal buddies who wanted to try to defend Kamala, then you should definitely check it out. Yeah, Kamala. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Not Jason getting a personal.
So Cole memo. If you could throw that link into the chat so people can check it out if they want to. I do encourage people to check it out. It's a fascinating little debate, and I go over all of the victories that Trump did for cannabis while he was president, and we count them down as if
the 2018 Farm Bill. I already know where that one's going.
I count. Hold on. Sohum, let me finish. I count them down as if I was Kendrick Lamar. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5.
That's counting up.
Why didn't he legalize it then?
He did legalize it.
He will be the last person on that.
No, he didn't legalize
as it goes down.
Stop it.
2018 Farm Bill legalized cannabis.
Oh, there it is.
It's all cannabis sativa L, Dale.
I was waiting for it.
Who's not a flip flopper? Jason Beck. He really sticks to that narrative, and I'm proud of him for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's because I stick to the truth.
I mean, I think that you should stick to smoking what was legalized under that Farm Bill, Ben. How about that?
I am. It's all THCA.
How about that?
How you like them apples?
Mm-hmm. It's all THCA. Mm-hmm.
Oh man, let's just say.
Of course, DeSantis has some tribesmen in Florida that are going to come out and speak out against this. I'm not surprised by this.
Jenna
Ellis?
Is just, Jenna Ellis. She saw firsthand what happens when you believe the bullshit that comes out of that man's mouth.
She had to plead guilty and got disbarred in Colorado.
Straight up.
She's not allowed to practice law anymore.
Straight up. People fucked around and they found out, and now they're speaking out against him because they know it's all bullshit.
I'm not buying any of it. I'm not buying out any of it. Trump came out for Amendment 3 because he wants to see this criminal justice aspect side and doesn't believe that people should be going to jail for a plan. And for people that want to talk shit about that, you know what? Those people I just call them all hypocrites because they're not for the plan and they're not for the people.
I think there's another reason he doesn't want people going to jail. Probably his many felony counts and other impending cases.
Ain't nobody worried about that.
Hey, but you know what though? Law and order. Law and order.
He will be. He will be. I can't wait. We'll get some Law and Order back.
More
on the
like
streets.
Law and Order SVU.
It'd be amazing. Well, we're gonna go to a commercial and we're gonna be right back.
I like CSI Miami.
I bet you do. I love Miami.
It's a great show.
I just ordered the summertime strawberry salad when added steak on top here at Anna's. Make sure you do the same thing too next time you're in downtown Long Beach. Come on down and check out Anna's joint on the 400 block of Pine Street. They have amazing selection of beers, foods, and when you come down here to Anna's, you can even challenge me to a game of shuffleboard if you want to lose. Did you get that? So, next time you're in downtown Long Beach on Pine Avenue, make sure you stop by Anna's Joint on the 400 block. Not only do they have Anna's Joint, this restaurant and bar, but they also have the amazing deli next door, and then next door to that they have a very exotic flower shop. You may want to stop by and say hi.
Oh, man, and we are back, you guys. Stop whatever you're doing. Make sure you hit that like button. I know we'll appreciate it. You'll appreciate it, and YouTube will appreciate it. Also, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed already, and all of the articles that we cover on today's show will be up on our website just later this afternoon. We do apologize for the delay. The Network Show is coming back to LA September 18th and 19th. Make sure to get your tickets now for the only B2B licensed flower trade show in LA. With its previous shows selling out, you'll want to act fast so you don't miss out on over 150 of the best brands and distributors throughout California. The Network Show captures and ensures an intimate, focused environment for California's most influential brands and retailers to join forces in the true spirit of the legacy operator. So head over to www.networkshow.co/ticketing to reserve your spot and start cultivating connections at this year's Network Show. And we are back, Rico.
Oh, yeah. With over a decade of regulated cannabis tech and data experience under his belt, it's crazy that this man is still on his grind, producing a product that is, has the same exact name, focus on athletes in cannabis. Coming to the stage next, it is my man, right out of the ATX, the
ATX.
You like that?
I mean, that's literally what people call the city.
That's hilarious. That's hilarious.
What's funny about that?
It's just funny, bro. It's so funny to me.
You sound a lot like JD Vance with that nervous laugh
so
today,
funny.
Jason.
Ain't nothing nervous about this laugh.
Y'all know who it is. Sohum Shah out the ATX, the bluest bastion in the red rum bastion of whatever the fuck.
Well,
Thank you, Rico. And yes, this is the
intro,
ATX.
man.
I'm not sure what part of that was funny, but that is what people call Austin. So
It's funny,
Houston
bro.
is called HTX. This is ATX, but we'll get right into the story. I'm sure Jason will like this one too. So this one is originally reported by John Schroyer at Green Market Report. So thank you to them for this reporting. But an audit reveals California regulators bungled $100 million in cannabis licensing and aid program. The program was established in 2021 but expires in June of 2025, at which point cities and counties will have to return any unused funds. California's chief cannabis regulatory agency fumbled the ball on a $100 million grant program it was tapped to oversee in 2021, according to a new state audit released last week. The funding was designed to streamline annual cannabis business licensing in 17 cities and counties. The report, released by state auditor Grant Parks, found that by January 2023, almost a year after the $100 million was dispersed by the State Department of Cannabis Control to the 17 jurisdictions, the program lacked sufficient oversight by the DCC, which led to inappropriate grant money spending by several of the cities and counties. This meant that the $100 million might not have been directed towards helping all provisionally licensed marijuana companies in those cities and counties attain their full annual permits, a step the businesses needed to have completed by January 2026 at the latest. Parks further found that in 2022, despite the DCC handing out roughly $80 million, just 535 cannabis companies obtained new licenses, while more than 4,600 were still in the queue. The grant recipients include the cities of Los Angeles, Oakland, Sacramento, Long Beach, and San Francisco, and the counties of Humboldt, Lake, Mendocino, Monterey, Sonoma, and Trinity. There's also some other smaller jurisdictions on the list. The auditor's office that licensees waited an average of 2 years to obtain an annual cannabis business license, but the report noted that it had encountered some operational companies that have been waiting for more than 3 years to obtain theirs. All of the findings, Park wrote, raises questions, quote, about whether the grant program can achieve its purpose. DCC's inadequate oversight and the local jurisdiction's inappropriate expenditures during the first year of the grant program have weakened the program's ability to assist certain local jurisdictions needing assistance in transitioning cannabis businesses that hold provisional licenses to obtain annual state licenses, the audit asserted. There's more detail about the audit that was released, and you can read more about it on the website. But that's more or less the gist of the article. I want to hear what the team has to say about the brilliant use of funds by the Department of Cannabis Control. This is Sohum with High at 9 News. Let's kick it back to the team and see what everyone has to say.
Man, this does not surprise me at all whatsoever, even in the slightest. I know you have some thoughts on this, Jenny.
You know I do, Jason. Yeah, I mean, shock and awe. I've seen how these programs operate, and unfortunately, like this one, we can't even throw at the DCC. They disperse the funds, and these municipalities individually have either misappropriated them or just failed to actually put a program together that effectively gets these funds to the applicants. Yeah, the licensing process is long and it's drawn out, and a lot of problems that applicants are having. It doesn't come back to the money. It comes back to the fact that these regulators are not being responsive. You can submit something, your invoice won't be generated for 2 weeks, then they just don't address it. Then they just don't respond. Like the analysts literally don't respond to the applicants. So the fact that they're not able to properly disperse the funding is not a shock to me either. I feel like a lot of things are very New York-esque in many of these municipalities where the regulators and the analysts and the people who are tasked with getting these people through the licensing process are more worried about how to put more money in their pockets than actually getting people licensed. So more of the same from California, definitely disappointing. And yes, if you're not able to administer the grant funds, give them back so someone who can administer the program.
Once they get money, though, Jenny Beth, they ain't giving it back.
Exactly.
If you don't really put restrictions on them of how they do it and mandate them to spend it in certain ways, shit just slips through the cracks. I mean, I'm here in Sacramento, and we've watched these equity businesses, especially trying to get over the humps. And you just wonder, what are you spending your money on? Because I have to continuously teach these people what I think are basic fundamentals of running a business. And CEQA out here continues to be a nightmare. It's a mess. And even in the cities where you have industrial zones where you put into, you still have trouble getting CEQA approval because it's a new product and they just want to stick a microscope up your ass for years. And it costs you tens, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars to get through the CEQA process. And focus of this money being spent is it's not in the right place. And if you don't put adequate controls and feedback, have you met your goals yet? If you don't take the money back, and it gets squandered. I mean, the abuse out there and the corruption, I mean, let's call it corruption, is they take this money and put it in places where it's not helping the people it's intended to. And it's just sickening, but it's part of government in California especially, and I assume across the entire country.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Fair enough.
Sad, man. More California bullshit, man. This is sad. Yeah.
Well, and they're supposed to use. Oh, sorry, Rico.
No, you're good. I was gonna say it is sad, but it's not surprising at all.
Mm-hmm. What do you think they spent the money on?
Like,
Well, a
really
lot of this
spent
money
the
was supposed to go to fee waivers because I don't know if you've noticed, but the licensing fees at the city level are pretty freaking exhaustive. And they're telling applicants that they're not. Like, I went through it with a specific city, got them to agree because they're like, oh, no, we only have fee waivers available for this newest lottery. Well, that's not fair because now you have new leadership. So you're trying to make it look like this lottery is more successful because you're giving these people advantages over the previous lotteries, right? So I'm like, if it's equity, everybody gets a fee waiver. They agreed. They're like, we'll do deferrals until we allocate funds to fully waive the fees. Well, they're now saying that they're out of money, which it sounds like they shouldn't be because that's a very big grant from the state of California and they can't waive them and those invoices are back and you can either pay this large thousands of dollar amount right now or lose your opportunity at licensing. It's set up to fail and it's really frustrating.
Fair enough. Fair enough. We're gonna. Any other final thoughts on this, Sohum? Are you there, Sohum?
On mute.
Oh,
yeah. So I mean, I think everyone pretty much summed it up. I think the real answer here is creating a system where you don't need to create another $100 million grant program so that people can actually get their applications through the system that you initially created. Like it's creating unnecessary bureaucracy and another layer of funding that giving cities and counties the opportunity to mismanage these funds.
More and more corruption.
It's totally unnecessary.
Corruption, yes. And on that, we're going to roll into our final commercial, and we're going to be right back.
Jenny Beth got you next.
Mm-hmm. You got it? Oh, yep. Sean, you know what? We're gonna skip the last commercial. Sean can't find the last commercial, so we're just gonna skip it. Let's just roll into Jenny Beth in the sake of time, Rico.
All right. Well, up next it is the very opinionated and melanated conservative pro-cannabis voice of the people coming to the stage, and sometimes she tends to be a thorn in Jason Beck's side. Maybe
Never.
A sign of things to come. The infighting we're seeing in the Republican Party. I don't know, but I do know that she's coming to the stage and breaking us off with a little hump day heat. Jenny Beth Dills.
Hey guys. Okay, well, yeah, there's some heat on this lady because a pharmacy technician who attempted to smuggle cannabis and other items into a prison has been suspended for 10 months. With a review at a General Pharmaceutical Council Fitness to Practice Committee hearing last month. Elena Turner, registration number 5107593, was convicted on September 11th last year at St. Albans Crown Court after pleading guilty to smuggling 11 grams of cannabis, a phone SIM card, and 3 SD cards on a visit to an inmate at HMP, the Mount in Bogdan, Hertfordshire, according to the hearing documents. She was given a prison sentence of 9 months, suspended for 18 months until June 2025, it said. The regulator accepted that Turner had the good sense to plead guilty to these matters in court, was open and honest at a hearing, and had shown remorse and some insight. And Turner said that she knew at the time of her offending that it was wrong, but felt pressured by the inmate to bring the items into the prison, and she was scared of him as he knew where she lived. But the committee stressed that this was a serious conviction and the offending was planned and premeditated. Turner visited the prison on January 2nd, 2023, where a drug detection dog flagged her, so she was led to a private searching area and asked if she was carrying anything prohibited, according to the document. She denied it and consented to a physical search, during which it was found that a package had been concealed in her cleavage that had cannabis, the SIM card, and memory cards in it, and she was then arrested. The committee shared the sentencing remarks of the judge from the criminal trial who said that Turner had struck up something of a relationship with the prisoner, repeatedly visited him, and was persuaded to smuggle the items into prison from him. So you guys can continue to read the article, but hey, listen, it's a bad idea, guys, if you meet a man in prison, become his pen pal girlfriend and think that it's a cool idea to stick some stuff down your boobs and take it into a prison. Can't imagine how she thought that was going to work out. I don't know how voluptuous this young lady was to have 11 grams, some SIM cards, and it sounds like, whatever the memory cards they were using in there. But probably a bad idea. I just thought this story was kind of comical. Probably because she stuck it down her boobs. But it's an interesting little random one for Wednesday to kind of add a little lightness into the show with Jason and Rico screaming about Trump. So I'm gonna throw it back to you guys. You guys smuggling into jail, or what's going on?
Little smuggler, huh? Little smuggler.
Damn, old boy in jail was throwing it good. Got her committing felonies, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Good for her. Good for her. Good for him. Good for her, I guess, until she got caught, though. Shit.
Yeah,
Oh,
LTE
damn. I can't
broadband going
believe you
on
say
over
that.
there.
Oh, that's funny.
Lots of stuff ends up in prison, guys.
Say that
I mean,
again.
when I was there, you could not believe all of the things that ended up there, from cell phones to, Remy Martin.
Mm-hmm.
None of it came in somebody's ass.
Yeah.
Got in there somehow.
This is in England, right?
I represented a bunch of correctional officers from Pelican Bay. And they were happy when someone brought weed in because they weren't killing each other over weed. They'd kill each other for cigarettes and heroin and crank.
Yeah.
This kind of reminds me of I don't know if you guys are fans of Big Boy in the Morning. Statute of limitations is up, and he finally gave he was on the All the Smoke podcast and gave his recollection of when he got arrested and he avoided time because he was so fat. He actually had and forgot he had under one of the folds in his belly a gun.
Right now.
So he had a 22 under the fold of his belly, and he was actually in holding and was able to get in and out with that thing underneath there. So
what's funny? What's funny? That's that actually brings up a memory. Man. I got arrested one time with a buddy of mine that was pretty overweight, and they had me in like this little holding cell, and they had him in this little holding cell, and we could see each other through the windows. And all of a sudden I see him pull out like a couple stacks of cash like that, and he's like, I got my cash still. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, get out of here. He's like I had it in my you know what I'm saying, in my fat. And I was just like, oh my God, bro, I was just dying. It was hilarious, bro. It was hilarious. So yeah, I'm not surprised by that.
A whole new meaning.
Yeah, right.
Man,
Exactly.
I didn't realize what I was missing out on by having
Jenny Beth,
no fat, man.
You'll be an expert on this because obvious reasons you're the only one on stage with the cleavage. But wouldn't it be more executable if you put it like under the boob?
Yeah, under boob over side boob, right, Rico?
I think that's what they said in the article.
I'm sure it was. Well, they didn't geographically explain exactly where it was in the cleavage, but I would assume, as a cleavage carrier on the show today, that it went under the boob. I've taken 4 airplane bottles into Red Rocks and 2 under each boob. So yeah, you got to go under there a little tuck and hide. But I would assume that's what she did. It was talking about how long that she had been visiting him, and like that she visited pretty frequently. So I assume that this is probably not the first thing that's come in there.
Rodeo.
I just want to know if she's like the lunch lady boobs. You know what I mean? The boobs that have a little bit of boob that sits out of the blankets a lot.
Well, maybe the prison guards are used to seeing that cleavage looking different, and it was a little lumpy this morning when she walked in.
I just wonder. No. You know what I really wonder, Rico, is how they found it. If they asked her to jump up and down, and that's how they found it.
Oh man.
Jason.
Let it shake out.
They couldn't get a female officer.
Man.
They couldn't get a female officer in there to check, so they jump up and down.
Where was this story, Jenny Beth? It was in England, right?
It was in England, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Man.
Sniffer dogs.
This is a pretty cool, pretty interesting story.
Biscuits.
I just thought it was funny. Sorry, it made me giggle. I guess I'm immature this morning.
Throw this one in the dumb criminals file.
Speaking of,
love will make you do crazy things.
Speaking of dumb criminals, you guys, I have this my final story for you guys. Are you guys ready for this?
Yeah.
Come on with it.
You are gonna love this, Rico. All right, because an Oakland police officer on leave after an illegal marijuana grow was found at his house, you guys. That's right. An Oakland police officer is on the leave after a large-scale illegal marijuana growing operation was discovered at his Antioch home. Oh, look at Antioch, the Oakland Police Department said. On an April morning, officers from the California Department of Cannabis Control used a power saw to cut through the steel-reinforced door at Samson Liu's 5-bedroom house in Contra Costa County. Inside, they found exactly
what they expected. In a quote, "Every room was converted into a grow room," said Charles Smith, deputy chief of law enforcement at the Department of Cannabis Control, which polices the illegal marijuana market in the Golden State. Sounds like he's just getting an apartment in Antioch, but nonetheless, in a quote, "The carpet and walls are covered with plastic, tables in every room. All of the electrical is haphazard and all over the place," he says. DCC officials found more than 80 pounds of marijuana in Lou's home that same morning, and they also raided 2 other homes on the block, filling a dump truck with about $1 million worth of weed cultivated by unlicensed growers, they said. Whether the 3 houses are connected is still under investigation, and the agency follows up on anonymous tips to identify illicit cannabis operators, which is how officers found Lou's house in Antioch. Agents surveyed the property and identified an excessively high use of electricity power from the home, and however, the DCC officers didn't realize Lou was an Oakland police officer until they began their investigation, and they notified the Oakland Police Department on the day of the raid. A spokesperson for the Oakland Police Department told KQED on Tuesday that Lou was placed on administrative leave effective on April 30th and said the matter is still under investigation, declining to provide further details. Lou's Oakland Police Department salary in 2023 was $137,239.46, with an additional $157,814.37 in overtime, according to watchdog site Transparent California.
Yeah. Damn.
Yeah. Although California voters legalized adult consumption of marijuana in 2016, illegal pot is still big business, and the benefits of participating in the underground economy are obvious. In a quote, "It's just lucrative. It's a cash business," Smith said. "You don't have to pay any taxes, and you don't have to pay any overhead. A lot of the individuals that are brought in for labor are being taken advantage of, and therefore growers really have low overhead, and they can make a lot of money," end quote. But Smith and investigators are not sure why the Contra Costa area has become a hotbed of illegal indoor cultivation. A recent CNN investigation that first reported Lou's connection to the home raided in April found that Antioch has had the second most marijuana raids in the state, just after Los Angeles. Man, shout out to the 925 out there. In a quote, yeah, "I don't know if it's just ease of getting into the market, lots of new houses, or if there's something else going on," Smith said. Illegal cultivation can pose high risk for consumers and for neighbors of underground grow operations. In a quote, "There's the local risk of fire because they're pulling so much power and they're overloading and they're usually bypassing the meters and the safetiness of the house," Smith said. And this has a whole bunch of different little quotes and whatnot, but that's pretty much the story, you guys. And we did cover the CNN piece earlier in the week on High at 9 News here, so you can check that out also. I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say about this guy.
Well, first of all, that Oakland PD needs to check their salaries, because what in the world? And this guy spent it all on double-ended gavitas. That's crazy. I just shout out to Jair.
I wonder if you got cut that $100 million.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not shocked. And maybe they're doing it more in Antioch because it sounds like the police don't really give a shit.
Well, I mean, Antioch is just like Oakland. You know what I mean? There's just lots of high crime, lots of violence and whatnot, and lots of ratchetness.
I'm interested in their math there. You said it was $1 million a product, and they found 80 pounds because that's the most expensive fucking weed.
No. 80 pounds out of his place, out of his home.
Oh, the million was from all 3.
Yeah, collectively.
Ah, okay. I was like, damn, that's a $12,000 pack. That's crazy.
That would be great. I mean, well,
yeah, no wonder he's doing it.
The police are the biggest gang in America, and this is definitely gang-like activity. So it would just really suck to be raided by your competition. Like, that would be. I mean, it's happened in Oakland plenty of times on the legal side too. But hey.
Yeah, they're lucky LA County Sheriff don't come up there. Then they'd be in real trouble.
Oh yeah, the real gangs. Of the white supremacy variety.
Oh, you guys are funny.
Compton executioners are coming there and take all that shit.
Does it? Just saying, lots of stuff going on, and it's a different shade of blue, but it's still a gang. It is still a gang.
Man, I just can't believe this guy. This is such a trip. Being a cop in Oakland and living in Antioch. I mean, that to me is crazy too. Live in Moraga or Orinda or something.
Well, maybe he couldn't afford it. He couldn't afford those posh places you speak of, Jason.
He's trying to be in the cut. Where do you put your grow house?
With his salary, he could definitely afford that.
I don't know, man. These prices are crazy, especially up.
I don't know if you heard, but he's growing a lot of weed, Rico, too. So I mean, he probably could afford to be there.
Yeah, he could have had more space to have a few more lights if he didn't have to have a space for him to sleep in.
And to be fair, if all those houses were on the same street, I would assume they probably are connected because I'm a reasonable, rational human being. But he probably doesn't live in those houses. He probably does have a house somewhere else if he's got multiple grows.
You know what I'm even more surprised of, to be perfectly honest with you, is if this is where he lived, right, and it's this big old grow house operation, how is it that his uniforms never smelled like weed? You know what I'm saying, Dale?
Maybe he didn't live there. Maybe he didn't live there.
Maybe he didn't live
I'm guessing he probably didn't live there. He probably was living in Walnut Creek, Jason.
Yeah.
WC's nice too.
No cops usually get changed at the station. Like, wouldn't his uniform just be at the station waiting for him?
I don't know what cops do, and I don't want to know what cops do.
Yeah, I don't either.
Take it to dry cleaners.
Well,
Well, you know what it is.
We don't have Yarrow on here today, so there's no pro-cop rhetoric.
Oh, boy.
So strange. So strange.
We love you, Yarrow. He's stuck in the Shire this morning. So a big shout out, big love to everybody up there. Stay safe out in Antioch, and just know next time you need to get out of a ticket, ask the cop if he's holding. But thank you all for joining us for yet another episode of High at 9 News. You can catch us live weekdays, 9 a.m. Pacific, high noon on the East Coast. Big shout out to the Superfans showing love, getting their comments posted live on the big screen. Do we have anybody in there today, Jason?
No food today. No, we're starving like Marvin, wondering like Stevie Wonder when we will get our next super chat.
Oh no, man! Oh no! I'm hungry.
It's all right.
Drink some water.
Yeah.
Also, our live audience and online supporters catching us across all media platforms. Tune in each day to the headlines of chaos, also known as the developing cannabis industry. Our vetted correspondent team tuning in from all over, and yes, even in the ATX, bringing us much needed variety of perspective and your respected opinions to the table. Our production team, Cloud Media Partners, all the sponsors keeping our lights on, especially Catalyst, keeping us in a good place for Jason to spew his pro-Trump BS in all of our AV struggles to a minimum. And as always, Cannabis Steve L, the reason why we show up to read these stories every single day. Thank you too. It has been Wednesday, September 4th, 2024. I almost forgot what today was. Show's over, but you've been blessed with the top industry headlines. Hope it's enough for you to put in your pipe and smoke at least until tomorrow. I cannot speak today, but I am Rico Lamitte, the dopest dad on the street for High at 9 News, America's #1 daily cannabis news show. And today we're going to roll things right back down to the land where they swang and they swing. Every day they do their thing. ATX, Austin, Texas, my man. Sohum Shah, you're going to take us out today, my brother.
I can't take anyone serious that calls it ATX.
Oh my God! Please send me your shirt size, Jason. You're getting an ATX shirt.
You never heard that, Jason.
He wears a schmedium now. He's skinny.
Medium.
All right, medium ATX shirt coming right up for you, Jason. But yeah, it's been a good day. Happy Hump Day. Happy Wednesday, everybody. Smoke something. We get to the beginning of Virgo season, so it's a good time to get organized, do a little fall cleaning, get your mind right, get your house right, and enjoy the rest of the week. It's a nice short week. Have a good day, everyone.
Keep it humping.
Stay humpy.
Wow.
I start hump a lot.
Is that your bed sound?
Oh boy.
That's what it used to sound like back when I was young. You know what I'm saying? It had springs and stuff.